Well, I would narrow that a little bit. I wouldn't say that our country hung us out to dry. I would say that 51% of our electorate hung us out to dry. 51% of eligible voters who actually showed up to vote. 51% of eligible voters in the United States who showed up to vote voted in a manner that demonstrates that they do not care about the idea or the ideals of the United States of America. They demonstrated, arguably, that they care more about the price of gasoline and the price of eggs more than they do about the United States of America remaining a constitutional republic, democratically governed. 51, a little more than 51% of our electorate that showed up in the way they voted demonstrates that they are perfectly fine with electing an adjudicated rapist to be president of the United States over a highly qualified woman who has served in all three branches of government. They demonstrated that they would rather have someone who has been convicted of 34 felonies within the last year, and those felonies relate to his efforts to improperly influence the 2016 election, rather than elect a woman to that position. 51% of our electorate, in the way they voted, was like, oh, he was found liable for a decade's worth of fraud and owes the state of New York $500 million. And the woman that a jury said he sexually assaulted, and he owes $80+ million to her, and his business was found guilty of 17 felony counts of fraud. We can pick between that guy and a highly qualified woman. Now we'll go with him. 51% of our electorate, the ones that showed up and demonstrated in the way that they voted, that they're completely fine with racism. They're completely fine with anti-immigrant bigotry. They're completely fine with just rank misogyny, homophobia, transphobia, ableism. None of those things are deal breakers. The voters who voted for Donald Trump are completely fine with those things, rather than elect a highly qualified woman to that office. So our country didn't us out to dry. Well, and let's talk for a second about, again, all of those things are less important to the people who voted for him than, ostensibly, I think they're lying, ostensibly, the price of gasoline and the price of eggs. They would rather vote for a racist, bigoted, misogynist, transphobic rapist, convicted felon, because they might save 25 cents on a carton of eggs, than vote for a highly qualified woman who has served in all three branches of government over the last 30 years. See where I'm going with this? Yeah. It's the misogyny and the racism. Yeah. It's the misogyny and the racism. It's not because she didn't appear on this podcast or that podcast. It's not that she didn't give enough interviews with the mainstream media, who made a 2-day story out of Joe Biden calling Trump supporters garbage, and gave the same amount of coverage to a literal Nazi rally at Madison Square Garden. Yeah, our media is just as bad as that 51% of our electorate. They are just as bad. They are just as bad. Our media is garbage. I'm happy to see that MSNBC's ratings have tanked by more than 50% this week. CNNs have been in the shitter for over a year. We do not have an actual functioning, objective media in this country. We don't have it. We've got the New York Times whitewashing all of those things about Donald Trump that I described. And the other side has Fox News, OAN, Newsmax, Right Side Broadcasting, and all of that shit, which now has a greater reach in our country than all of the quote mainstream media stuff combined. Our country is fucked. It's fucked. And it's not going to be just ride this out for 4 years and everything will get better. Good luck, everybody.